Well, hello everybody. Corvus here, and I'm sorry for once again the extremely long wait between videos. Quite a lot has gone on, I would say, since around the end of November through about maybe a few weeks ago. And things still are settling. But um at least things have come together enough that I felt like I could actually do this again. I actually had already made a video on bipolarity, like just the overall basics of it, since I know quite a few people that either suffer from it, think they may suffer from it, and I also do have bipolar type 2. But for some reason, I don't know if I deleted it or if they, but I don't have the videos anymore, so I had to remake this again. Um, and I will do a personal update on how I'm doing and what's going on, I guess, with me. And also, my very good friend, Sin, has requested a video that I also will be making sure to film and get up as soon as possible. Once again, I'm very sorry, and hopefully, this will be the last time that this happens, and things will continue down the path that they're going now. But bipolarity is basically most people just hear about bipolar 1 or um, think of maniacs because of the type of one of the type of sides of the spectrum that you end up on, which is a manic or hypomanic end. But it's a mood disorder, and it's a mood disorder has to do with the elevation and lowering of just a person's mood. It's very simple and pretty straightforward and kind of self-explanatory when you think about it. Um, Mania is, since bipolar, bi meaning two and polar meaning the two ends of a spectrum. So it's basically that your mood fluctuates between two extremes. And one being mania, which is when you feel incredibly euphoric, hyperactive, almost like people can mistake you for being on amphetamines or on some sort of stimulant. Um, you'll have sometimes grandiose beliefs or grandiose type of thinking, um, markedly increased energy. Sometimes you don't sleep for days, um, and a lot of behavior. Sometimes people will do destructive things like overspend, go online and go on a spending spree when they really don't have the money and screw up a credit card. Um, so bipolar one, you have on one end clinical depression and mania on the other end. And mania is what I just described, and you can end up with a psychotic or delusional state or delusional beliefs when you are manic. Hypomania, which is for bipolar 2, which is clinical depression, and hypomania. Hypo is a little bit less, basically. So, hypomania means that you sort of have all these same symptoms, except you're able to function somewhat, or sometimes people can function completely, and there is no psychosis, there is no delusions. Um, but you still have that euphoric, hyperactive, no sleep. Everything is spinning and moving too so fast, and nothing else is keeping up. Um, then there's also this part of the bipolarity spectrum is cyclothymia, which a lot of people have never ended up hearing about. It's a milder form of bipolar disorder. Overall, it's more chronic. It's pervasive. It lasts for a long time, and I think in order to get it diagnosed with it, you need to be experiencing these symptoms for, I think it's something like 2 years. Um, before getting a diagnosis. And you have symptoms of depression, not clinical depression. So you have like episodic depression and hypomania also in episodes. So sometimes people don't realize that they have it. They think that they just have, depressive swings, and maybe they just look at it as just they don't really realize that it's hypomania that they're feeling. So cyclothymia can be very chronic, and it's very hard to diagnose. Um, you could also have bipolarity or bipolar not otherwise specified, um, which is just that there's really no pattern in how any of these moods change. And you can also have mixed episodes where you're feeling the depression as well as feeling manic at the same time, which can be very dangerous. Because if you're depressed, you could be feeling suicidal, and the euphoric energy from the mania could say allow a person to have the motivation to say go through with it. Um, there's also rapid cycling, which is what I actually have. Where you have for it to be diagnosed with rapid cycling, you have to have 4 or more episodes over the course of 12 months. Some people experience multiple in a day, which is considered ultra rapid cycling. Um, and then every couple of days, you can have, every couple of days it could change. It could change within just one day. And it can be very rough to deal with going up and down that much over the course of a very short period of time. And this is something that I find to be very important about bipolarity is it's actually, even though it can seem like it's very difficult to treat, it is. But it's really just finding it's sadly one of those illnesses that medication tends to be one of the best courses of treatment, obviously, along with therapy of some form, usually cognitive behavioral therapy. Um, but um, genetics plays a huge role in bipolarity. It's one of the mental illnesses that we do know has a strong genetic link. It's believed to account for 60 to 80% of the risk for it. So if a parent has a form of bipolarity, it is you have a risk of 60 to 80% of the offspring having this. So the heritability of bipolarity has been estimated at approximately 70%. So the risk is almost 10 times greater in first degree relatives. Um, Knowing that for some people can be upsetting. Some people find it to be a relief. Personally, I find it to be a relief because this is just who I am and that's just how I am. And if I have to take medication and learn certain coping mechanisms to deal with hypomanic swings or depressive swings, then I learn to deal with it and try to cope as best as I can. Um, but a lot of the time, it takes a while to find, say, the right combination of therapies and medications to treat, especially when it's something that's genetic. It's not like you can, say, work through an experience you had when you were younger that's causing this. Of course, one's experiences are going to influence um, something like bipolarity. Um, and it has a lot of other illnesses that are comorbid, which comorbid, I believe I have said in another video, means there are plenty of other mental health issues that go along with having bipolarity. A lot of the time, substance abuse and anxiety, um, eating disorders. But even though they're mental illnesses in and of themselves, really what they are negative forms of coping mechanisms for the person suffering through these crazy, and I don't mean crazy in a negative way, this roller coaster of emotions, of being horribly depressed where you can't get out of bed to even take a shower or pick up an old mug from your coffee 3 days ago and just stick it in the sink or the dishwasher. And then a few days later, you're cleaning the house on your hands and knees at 3 o'clock in the morning and, doing tons of shit. And sometimes it can be very hard to cope with. After a while, with the right treatment, though, you can learn to deal with it. I'm not saying that I'm perfect and that I've learned to deal with it, but I have learned to deal with it a lot better than I used to. And it is something that I feel confident that if, say, a person does have it, that it is treatable. And if you have any questions about any of these forms of bipolarity, if I left anything out, if there was anything that I said that was incorrect, please let me know in the comments. Um, if you like this kind of stuff, these kind of videos, I'm trying to post more often, maybe be on my arse to make sure that I get these things done. Um, and subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notified when I do upload a video. Um, and if you liked this video, please let me know. If you have any requests or questions or anything like that, please just leave that in the comments. Anything you've got to say, just let me know. And please like, share, and subscribe. Um, and I will be back very soon with a bit of an update on myself and another video requested by my very good friend, Sin. So, for now, this is Corvus, signing out.